GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up. We're Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good? Get it? GMGP. Good morning, good people. It is Monday, May 5th. JRich, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Let's go, baby. Cinco de Mayo. Y'all have pulled up, woken up, got up, rolled out of bed, or you might still be laying in the bed. Wherever you are, we appreciate you being in the building. This is Wake Up with Ray and JRich. Y'all know my brother from another mother. You can find him at your boy JRich on X. Get you a cup of coffee. Strap in, because we got a lot to talk about. The people, JRich, the people were begging for 2026 content. They want to know about that 2026 class. We're going to talk about a couple little guys in those classes. We're going to talk about a couple of guys from the 2025 class. And then we're going to talk about some underrated NFL draft prospects that like nobody, and I mean nobody, is really talking about. So we're going to dive into that, talk about some high upside potential offensive players from this class. We got some Golden State Warriors talk. You got some hockey shit you want to talk about. How you feeling, JRich, on this fine Monday, baby?
Oh, I'm excited, Ray. I'm excited. This is a big show. I was watching those Winnipeg Jets highlights this morning. They got me fired up, man. Like it's a good day, man. We'll talk about that a little bit, but yeah, the Warriors got it done. I meant to watch it, forgot. You know, they got it done, so no big deal there. But yeah, man, pumped up. This is a fun show. I'm excited. Got my first rookie draft. Got my first Hendo
Let's
share
go.
after all the hate I got the other day.
Let's go,
I'm excited,
baby.
man. I'm excited. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We got people in the chat already saying, I finally see the light. MV Prof in the building saying, give me that RJ Harvey over Caleb Johnson. We'll talk about that. What's happening with you? Jeremy in the building. We got John in the building. GMGP to you. David, GMGP to you. I hope you have a great Monday, my friend. Fredo said 3 rookie drafts down, 4 more to go. I hope your rookie draft season is treating you all well. You're getting all the players that you want. You're excited. You're having fun. I might be on the clock in the league right now. I'm going to check the phone here in a minute, JRich. But we do have, we got the people in the building. I'm feeling good. I'm excited, man. Content scheduling update. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way early.
Okay.
Wake up. Today, Wednesday. That's it. No Friday show. No Monday show. No show on Friday. No show next Monday. We are, we have to redo our Disney trip. So we took a trip to Disney. It was earlier this year. Hurricane Milton came through and said, get your ass back home. Go home. We had to leave after a day. So we're going back to Universal, going to Disney on Thursday, Jay. So no show on Friday. You get the day off on Friday. And then we travel back on Monday. So no show Friday, no show Monday. But I promise you, we will have you covered. We got some content that's going to drop on the channel, as well as the DDFFB channel. If y'all aren't subscribed to the Fantasy Football channel and all the things that we do, man, go do that. They dropped a rookie mock this past Saturday. It was live. Very good content. Brandon, Cody, Shane, Ty DeClaire, the trade man himself. 4 individuals. A little bit of overreaction in there, JRich. There were some wild takes, but I highly suggest you go check out this 2025 Dynasty rookie mock over on DDFFB. The crew did a great job on that. Again, no wake up on Friday, no wake up on Monday, Jay, but we got a lot to talk about today, man.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that mock, Ray, 2 hours. There was no shortage of conversation on that 4-round rookie mock. That's for sure.
Insane. That might be a thing. Those 4 work together. I'm going to just say it like that. Brandon, Cody, Shane, and Ty. They're the only 4 that can pull something like that off. 2-hour mock draft. Check that out on DDFFB. But you did touch on some news quickly. And I don't have any assets for it. I was worried about the football side. Warriors,
Yeah,
if
we're
you're a
good.
Warriors fan, got it done. Got out of that first round. 4-3 over the Houston Rockets. Steph Curry led the way, got hot in the second half. Golden State faces old Ant-Man and the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up. So Golden State moves forward. The Indiana Pacers lead the Cleveland Cavs 1-0 in their series that just begun yesterday. You know, Donovan Mitchell said, hey, don't trip. It was one damn game. We got a bunch of basketball left. So Cavs fans, don't panic too much yet. And JRich, you talked about a double overtime thrilling victory in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I would highly suggest anyone who is a fan of sports, period, go watch the highlights from the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues last night. I will not spoil it for you, but yeah, double OT thriller and probably one of the craziest late game goals you'll ever see in hockey. It was ridiculous.
Look at this. Dexter said peace from Thailand. What's happening with
Let's
you,
go.
Dexter? What's going on there, man? Dexter, what you doing in that Thailand? You live there, visiting? What you doing, man? Let me know. Let me know. Know what's going on out there in Thailand. JR Enterprise in the house. First live show in a minute. We back. Appreciate you, Matt, for pulling up. Hit the thumbs up button, folks. If you're here
Yes,
live
sir.
and you enjoy the streams, you enjoy what we do, you have fun, you're up, you're awake, you're tapped in, subscribe to the channel. More streams and a little teaser. JRich and I really enjoyed doing the morning show. We really enjoy this 3 days a week. We got you covered all through the offseason. In season is crazy. But there might be something on the horizon, Jay, where we've got a little members only show in the evening time, late night snack for the people here on the channel. So potentially there might be some Ray and Jay turn down, go to sleep, lay down, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what we're going to call it, but there's a good chance that that's coming in the very near future. So stay tuned for that and more. But JRich, I want to talk a little rookies real quick, and I'm not talking about the 2025 rookies because people are already done with the 2025 class. 2026 is all everybody keeps talking. I'm seeing way too early 2026 mocks. Jordan Reed put one out on ESPN. You got every NFL fantasy football outlet talking about this 26 class. So I just wanted to talk about the position that makes the class great. The position that makes draft classes, at least the perception and the strength, feel strong. That's the QB position. And there are quite a few quarterbacks that are currently jockeying early on for number one overall pick supremacy. Now, for anybody out there that doesn't believe me, doing a mock draft right now is pointless. It is absolutely pointless. You can go back. The top two picks projected for just about every draft analyst this time last year was James Pierce Jr. and Shedeur Sanders. Those were the top two guys. Every mock draft board, Shedeur won, James Pierce won. Get to the process, Shedeur goes in round 5. So what we know today is probably not going to hold true when we get to this time period in 2026. But I do want to bring some names and talk about just your feelings when you see these players, JRich. I don't want you to deep dive into any stats, just the perception around these guys in the college football world to have them be like top 10 picks right now in this class. You ready for this? I'm going to show you some names.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Just give me your initial thoughts when you see Drew Allar out of Penn State in contention for being the number one overall pick in 2026.
It sounds crazy, but I get it because of the tools. He's basically just like, would you say he's a better Will Levis or a worse Will Levis? I don't think it's great to be either, but I'd say that that's probably my comparison. He is probably a slightly better, more experienced Will Levis, but he needs to develop and become a lot better if he's going to be a number one overall pick.
Well, Drew Allar, this will be his third season as the starting quarterback for Penn State. Last year, 65% completion percentage, 3,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not bad. Not bad for Drew Allar. You watch the tape, you watch his game, and it's fine, right? He's not going to give you much. He's fine. He's fine. 302 rushing yards, so he's not a statute back there. I think I just feel kind of just, I don't know. There's a lot of watching Drew Allar, and you walk away just saying, I don't know. So I'm going to ask you, JRich, just right off the cuff, would you rather Drew Allar or Jackson Dart?
I'm taking Jackson Dart.
Okay. You think he's a better prospect? You think he's a
I
better
do think he's a better prospect, actually, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Drew Allar not really getting JRich there. Doesn't really get him going. What about this quarterback, JRich? A lot of hype around this guy. Now, you know a lot about this. Was your boy back in the old Devi days, and been an up and down roller coaster. Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik. JRich, Cade Klubnik, Clemson's lead dog. He's been there. He's been a top quarterback coming out of high school. Up and down career at Clemson, but this will be his third year starting. Last year, 63% completion percentage, 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns for the 6'2", 210-pounder, and 463 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns. Your thoughts on Cade Klubnik being in contention? And right now, he's like the number 1 overall pick. That's the quarterback that's coming off the board first. Thoughts on Cade Klubnik? Yeah, thoughts. That's who Jordan Reed had number 1 overall, was Cade Klubnik. Thoughts on this one?
So I actually do like this. I think that Cade Klubnik is a viable option for a quarterback needy team at number 1. Do I think he'll get there? It's hard to say. He wouldn't be my lead candidate right now for number 1, but the development we saw from him from year 2 to year 3, I actually think is pretty substantial, because he did kind of struggle early on. And so if he can continue to develop at that rate into his final season, I think there is a world where maybe he could be number 1 worthy.
Jason says Alar equals Derek Carr. JR Enterprise says he would take Alar over Jackson Dart. He would take Alar over Jackson Dart. Stanley, I see the super chat in there. I got you, big dog. BC says Alar is a poop emoji. Does not like that Drew Alar. And then Stanley says Clemson QB, the first QB drafted most likely. So yes, Jay, unbeknownst to you, Cade Klubnik right now is,
he's 12-1.
I guess depending on who you read, right? Depending on what site you look at, but he's coming off the board very, very highly. All right. One of the players that we really liked, and he was getting some steam to potentially enter the draft this year, but the end of the season was not very good. But there's a lot of hype, hope, and enthusiasm around Bayou Bengal, Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU signal caller, going into his second full season as a starting quarterback after taking over for JD5, Jayden Daniels, last year. Garrett Nussmeier, JRich, in the SEC, had 64% completion percentage, 4,052 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And again, down the stretch, wasn't as sharp as maybe you would like him to be, but he wasn't awful either. He wasn't awful. Maybe not as sharp as you would like him to be. Not going to offer you anything on the ground, okay? He ain't running around. Negative yardage in his career. Negative 38 rushing yards this year. 6'2", 200-pound quarterback. What are your thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier jockeying for that number 1 overall pick spot?
He's my lead man right now. He 100% should be. He is the next Joe Burrow, the next Jayden Daniels, the guy that's going to take a massive leap in his second year starting for LSU. Is he going to be the number 1 overall pick? I don't know, but we've already seen this with a quarterback like Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels at LSU. The question, and I'd have to you, is do you think the talent around him is good enough to help vault him there? Because I think he's good enough to get there, but Daniels went from 17 passing touchdowns and 2,900 yards in his first season at LSU to 3,840 touchdowns in his second season. And as you remember with Joe Burrow, it was a similar circumstance where you saw him developing in real time at LSU late in his first year starting, and obviously the second year we know what happened, right? So I do think a massive leap is coming for Nussmeier. It's just how high can he ultimately get, but he is my favorite right now to be the number 1 pick.
I'm a big fan of Garrett Nussmeier. I don't think that anybody out there has talked about him more and as loudly as I did before. I mean, it was very clear that this guy's got it. I'm looking at their wide receiver cast. You've got Aaron Anderson out there, CJ Daniels, Chris Hilton. We'll see. I don't know. There aren't a lot of receivers that are high up on the NFL draft board, but if Nussmeier is as good as we think he is, he's absolutely going to help propel his team and all of that. Now, my question to you is, if you believe he's the number 1 overall pick in 2026, everything that we know about this draft in 25, would you rather have Garrett Nussmeier or Cam Ward?
Oh, I'd rather have Cam Ward.
Okay. All right. So it hasn't,
because you don't bet on
reached
him
the level where you're going to take these guys over.
Well, it's funny though, because as you're saying that, off the top of your head, because I can't even think of the team right now, who do you think is going to have the number 1 pick?
I think the betting odds are Cleveland. I believe the betting odds are Cleveland.
To be fair, that makes sense. Yeah, Cleveland. But Cleveland's good. The thing is with Cleveland, they're going to win some games. Right?
I
like
agree.
They always find the way to win some games.
Yeah, defensively, they're going to be too good to lose every game. They're not going defeated. I don't believe that.
Yeah. So Yeah, so the Browns, the Giants, the Saints, the Jets. I could see the Jets, but they have good.
Now, defense is too good. I can't see, not with Fields. Defense is too good. I can't see them having the number 1 overall pick. We got one more quarterback. One more quarterback that I want to bring up from this 2026 class and just get your thoughts around this player, your feeling, what you're hearing, what you're seeing. This is my dark horse favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. And we're going to go to South Carolina and talk about SEC signal caller, 6'3", 242-pound Lenora Sellers. 65% completion percentage last year. Threw the ball significantly less than any of the other quarterbacks, 299 attempts, 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions from Lenora Sellers in 2024. He also had 647 rushing yards with 7 rushing touchdowns. Jay, it's the athleticism, right? It's the athleticism, it's the speed, it's the skill. These are some of the reasons why, for me, he's in that range. Now, we know how the NFL kind of, you better be able to throw the ball, is all I'm going to say. I like what we see, and you see it on the screen, the athleticism, and this was him scoring against that Clemson team, right? This was against Clemson, who's got Peter Woods, who has 10 first-round picks according to every single mock draft. And the athleticism and the talent, it's oozing. He can throw the ball. He's accurate with the ball. You want to see him take a step forward. But your thoughts on Lenora Sellers working his way into being the top quarterback in 2026?
I'd be pretty surprised, honestly. I don't know a lot about Lenora Sellers. I'll be very honest about that. But again, if you're telling me that you're not sure that he can throw the ball, that
I am sure
he can run the ball.
I'm absolutely sure he can throw the ball.
You think he's top 5 worthy at throwing the football? We know he can run. That's great. That's cool. You know me, I don't really give a shit if you can run at the quarterback position. I really don't.
Right,
because at the end of the day, you're going to succeed or fail if you can throw the football accurately, on time, and in whatever system you're playing in. So if he can develop and be that guy, then yeah. But I do think that, like, the fantasy side of things and the way people view that gets clouded when it comes to NFL evaluation, because all the quarterbacks at the top of drafts, like, they can't just run.
Higher completion percentage than Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah. But is it going to matter?
With the rushing. Like, that's the one that I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna stand on the mountaintop and say QB1 today, but that is one of the guys that I do think will put himself with a strong season in the SEC in that range. You got to be able to throw, right? And there are some not great examples of dynamic rushing quarterbacks in recent memory, not going very high, so there could be some skepticism there. But he is my swing. The size, the athleticism, the talent.
Yeah.
One name that we did not bring up was Texas quarterback Arch Manning. He's not coming out. I do not believe he's coming out. I've been saying that. It's his first year starting.
Favorite to go number 1, Ray. He's the betting favorite. The books
You're burning money.
Stealing from people who are betting that.
I do not believe that he would be coming out. And to be quite honest with you, if anybody actually watched Texas play and watch Arch Manning play, you would say, I need to see more from him throwing the ball. The legs are no doubt in there. He can go run right now with the best of them. But throwing the ball, he ain't Peyton or Eli. Not yet. He might get there, but I'm not factoring Arch Manning into any 2026 draft plans. I do not believe the collective down in Austin is going to let him leave. I don't think he's pressed for any type of money, and he needs more development throwing the football. He has not been a starter in college. I'm not banking on a one-year starter lighting up college football with some of the talented veteran quarterbacks that we have in the college football world. I'm just not banking on him coming in and leaving after 13 games this fall.
He'd have to win it all. That's the only, if Texas wins it all, then maybe. If they don't, then there's just no. It's not even the Manning way. He's going to stay 2 years in college for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. So we're not even going to dive into. I'll tell you right now, I couldn't name 5 running backs in 2026. Not 5. Can't name 5 of them.
I couldn't name 2.
Jeremiah Love. You can name 2. Love,
because
Singleton.
of Katron and
you
Singleton.
got Katron and you
and Singleton.
But the point is, it's so far away from that. I'm just sort of focused on the quarterbacks. And if these are the guys that are coming out, there'll be 2 or 3 more that pop on the radar, right? There'll be a couple of more that land on the radar throughout the season. We'll see how it plays out. But I like where at least the quarterbacks are right now, because last year at this time, it was literally Shedeur. It was Shedeur Sanders,
and everyone hated him.
Quinn Ewers, and Drew Allar. Those were kind of the 3 quarterbacks, and people weren't excited about that. But that concludes our 2026 class talk. I see people in the chat. Yeah, Arch ain't coming out. Yeah, we got Coleman out of UW. Ricky One saying Jonah Coleman, big fan of Jonah Coleman, transferred from Arizona a couple of years ago. Yep, you got Singleton, you got Allen, you got Caleb Jackson down at LSU, I believe. The two guys at Ohio State that transferred from USC, Quentin Joyner as well. So I know
Oh yeah,
some
good
names, but
guy.
the point is, it's Quentin Joyner would be a day 3 pick right now, even though I like him. And good luck to him at Ohio State. But Jay, I want to go through, what's the title of this show? Upside? Top 10 upside? Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
boom bust players. Yeah, upside
Ooh,
picks.
boom bust players. Now, Jay, we're going to set the stage like this. I'm going to give you a situation. We're going to talk about some players who seem to be falling or folks are fading a little bit based on players that are ahead of them, talent, situation, all of that stuff. We're going to start out with the running back position because the running backs is what's popping right now. The running back class was incredible here in 2025. And we had a running back drafted in round 4 of the 2025 NFL draft. Dylan Sampson, JRich. We've got Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. And right now, the conversation around this running back is he's Quinshon Judkins' backup. He's the backup running back to Quinshon Judkins. Now, over the weekend, I don't know if you saw, I believe Jerome Ford reduced his contract or did something with his contract to remain in Cleveland at a lesser amount. So he's going to be there, and he's going to be what I call a gnat. He's going to be on the field. He's going to get touches. But this situation between these two running backs right now, Quinshon Judkins is viewed as this prospect that is head and shoulders be above and beyond what Dylan Sampson brings to the table. My question to you, when you're talking upside, JRich, is there a world where Dylan Sampson is on the field in high volume, valuable situations to score fantasy points, to get 4-minute down work, 2-minute drill work? Is there a world where Dylan Sampson is just flat out better in Cleveland than Quinshon Judkins? It's something that people don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to admit it. But is there a world where the true upside play that you're getting multiple picks after Quinshon Judkins is Dylan Sampson?
I think absolutely. And honestly, Ray, in a lot of ways, when you look at a situation like this, you say, well, how is it going to play out? And what's something we could kind of comp it to? And if you want to go to this perfect situation, it's Detroit, right? Are they as talented as David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs? We'll see what happens in Cleveland. But Quinshon Judkins profiles as that thumper, right? He's probably going to get the goal line work. He's probably going to get the early down touches. But for people who play fantasy football, like, the more valuable touches could go to the complimentary guy. And that complimentary guy isn't going to need the 4-yard rush or the 3-yard carry or the 2-yard, convert the 6 on 3rd and 1 at the 50-yard line. Like, you don't need those carries. You need a guy to catch a few passes and to run outside and down the field and very, very fast. And those are all things that Dylan Sampson does very, very well. And so once Quinshon Judkins wears down the defense on his 15th carry, Dylan Sampson can come in and light them up for big plays and touchdowns. And I think, to your point, for a lot of people, Sampson, I believe I got him late 2nd round in a 1 QB draft, which, again, doesn't really matter that late. But when you're taking Judkins, I believe he was drafted in my rookie draft that I did over the weekend at 105. Like, it's a massive discount for what could be the same production. And that doesn't even factor in that, Ray, there is a world where he could beat out Judkins. Not this year, baby, but maybe beyond that. And that's the type of downside that Judkins has because he's playing with another talented running back. We all know that Judkins is a better producer, especially younger in the SEC than Sampson was. But if both were utilized heavily in some world, and I'd say a pretty decent chance, like a 30% chance, Sampson's actually the more valuable asset because of the touches that he plays in and the way that he's utilized in an offense.
Yeah, I've got Ingram, Chimere. People asking, is Jerome Ford dead? Judkins wears you down. Sampson takes off for the chunk plays. I'm gonna post this little chart here, and it's kind of hard to see, so I'll read it off. Zoom in a little bit for the screen, but this is Dylan Sampson versus Quinshon Judkins from the 2024 season. Okay, EPA per play for Dylan Sampson 0.13, Quinshon 0.16. So Judkins gets the edge. EPA per rush identical. 0.14 for both of them. Yards per attempt, Sampson 5.8, Judkins 5.5. Success rate, Sampson 57.5%, Judkins 50%. Chunk play rate, 15 plus yards, Quinshon, 9%. Sampson, 7%. Yards before contact per attempt, damn near identical, 1.9 and 2. Yards after contact per attempt, Dylan Sampson at 3.9, close to 4. Quinshon, 3.3. Broken tackle percentage, 40.2% for Sampson, 37% for Judkins. Stuff rate, runs that go 0 or negative yards, 11.5% for Judkins, 6.7% for Dylan Sampson. Now, catch percentage, Judkins caught the ball a little better, 82% to 74%. More yards per reception, more yards per target, and the EPA per target much higher for Quinshon Judkins. So just looking at those two versus one another in 2024, it's very close. I mean, you see the web graph. It's very close between those two. I don't think there's a big gap in talent, okay? Just my opinion. I don't believe there's a massive gap between the talent of Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. And then the fact that the team did that, took Dylan Sampson so early on day 3, they clearly have a plan for him. I'm not saying don't draft Judkins because he's not going to be good. I'm not saying Sampson is better than Judkins. My question is, are we being a little dismissive of how good Sampson was and viewed in the eyes of many draft evaluators, and clearly how Cleveland felt by drafting him 2 rounds after Judkins? Is there a world where he is just a very good asset in this offense that's being a little undervalued? And Jay, I think the answer to that question is yes.
Yeah, no, he is a little bit. And that's the hard part, I think, in what we do, right? Because how much do we discount Judkins? And is he should he go behind a Caleb Johnson? And how far is too far? Because, you know, the first day, or I guess it was actually day 2, everyone was super excited because, oh man, he's going to be the lead dog in Cleveland. And then Dylan Sampson goes there, and it's like, well, we like Dylan Sampson, so that sucks because he's pretty good. And you laid out the case and the stats as to why. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It's one of those situations where, especially early, while people are kind of fading Sampson, because a lot of people are saying it's going to be Judkins, you want to pick up some Sampson. Maybe there's a world as well where you want to pick up some Judkins because Sampson's starting to kind of nip at his heels in training camp, and he starts to become a better value. So it's something to monitor, but Judkins will get the first crack, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sampson gets the more valuable touches in the end.
And again, this is not an either or. This is not us saying Sampson is better. It's not us saying that Judkins is worse. It's really just saying, you know, is there a world where Sampson is a little more valuable than we believe? And what I don't think is going to happen, I don't believe Cleveland drafted both of these guys with the plan and the idea to give Quinshon Judkins 30 carries a game and Dylan Sampson 0. Like, you're just the backup. I don't believe.
They clearly had a day 2 grade on Sampson. 100%.
Absolutely.
Right?
Let's go with another player. JRich, let's go with another running back that is starting to catch fire, right? A lot of people getting really excited about this 4th round running back that's playing with the team where we know the running back position is fruitful. You get a running back in this offense, it's going to spell good things. And let's go to the Los Angeles Rams and talk about Jarquez Hunter, JRich, the dynamic SEC rusher from Auburn who was drafted in round 4 by the LA Rams. Jay, Hunter is good. He's physical. He's athletic. He's not the most athletic back we've ever seen in the NFL draft, but he is athletic. He can run, SEC producer, experienced, and he's going to an offense that, if you've got the running back for the Rams, you already know that's going to mean good things, right? You already know that's going to mean good things. Now, the Rams do have, over the past 2 years, one of the most, you talking about stats and production, one of the best running backs in the NFL in Kyren Williams over the past couple of years. However, no explosives, man. I mean, he is just going to grind out 15-yard carries, right? That's as far as his legs can take him. No explosive plays from Kyren Williams. He's weird because he's a little back, but he's a compiler, like a big grinder running back. So they definitely wanted to add an explosive element to this offense. Sean McVay, Les Snead have continued to talk about this very openly over the past couple of days. There have been a lot of clips out there of how they plan to deploy these running backs. Now, I just want to put it out there because people seem to have forgotten about the 3rd round pick from last year. Blake Corum, got him on the screen. Is it over for Corum? Or are we still being a little dismissive to what the Rams currently have? And Kyren Williams is still there, JRich. He's still there, okay?
Yeah.
Until he goes away, he's still there. You do have Blake Corum, and I know the stats, he had 58 rush attempts last year, 200-something yards. But when you watch him, you're like, okay, was a part of this him working his way back to the injury that kind of plagued him towards the end of the season at Michigan? Because I'm watching some of these clips like, shit, if I could get some of this out of Blake Corum, I'd be pretty damn happy. What are your thoughts about the upside that Jarquez Hunter possesses in this Rams offense if, I guess, something were to happen to Kyren and Corum? How do you think Hunter fits into this team?
Ray, I think you kind of laid out the case. And the biggest thing with both these guys is, like, they're not athletes. Like, they're just not. Kyren Williams is not an athlete in the way that we talk about running backs and wide receivers as, like, big-time athletes. And Jarquez Hunter, you know, you talked about he's not, like, this crazy athlete, but he's much more athletic than both Blake Corum and Kyren Williams. And that's why when you just talk about upside, like, if Sean McVay really likes Jarquez Hunter, he's probably going to be the lead back. Like, and again, it's not going to happen week 1. It's not going to happen, you know, till probably mid-season. But if he shows he's as explosive as he can be in college, and we've seen in college, like, I do think there's a world where he is much more useful in a McVay-style scheme than a Kyren Williams. You talked about his Ray. Like, his longest carry last season was 30 yards.
I know.
And again, it doesn't really matter. You know, you see these kind of things for running backs. Like, we talked about Zeke never has long carries. He's still a very effective running back. But this is a team that is explosive and wants explosive plays and wants chunk plays. And when your running backs aren't giving you that, like, I do think it is a bit of a problem. Like, this offense was at its best when Todd Gurley could rip off massive runs because he did have 4.4 speed even later on in his career. Like, and I think Hunter can actually provide that. So I don't think Blake Corum is dead, but he would have been on the field a lot more last year if he was any good and they liked him. Right? That's just my opinion, because McVay's already shown us that he's willing to roll out a pretty much rookie, undersized, slow running back in Kyren Williams if he trusts him over anyone else on the roster, which we didn't expect. So why wouldn't he do the same for a more athletic player behind a current Kyren Williams who's been fumbling? Like, there probably isn't a bigger upside back in the class that you can get in the third-ish round. Like, he truly does have a ton of upside, and if he can show why they drafted him, obviously they have a reason for it, then I think he could be on the field very early.
I want to say yes, Jay. I want to agree and say absolutely. Hunter could be on the field earlier, but Kyren is still there. Corum is okay.
All you need is them to not like Corum, and he'll be on the field, right?
I will believe a Rams RB rotation when I see it. And now we're talking about not just rotating with one guy. We're talking about a full 3-man. He's never done that. He's never done that. Whether it was C.J. Anderson, Todd Gurley, Kyren Williams, Darrell Henderson when he's out there, they don't rotate backs like that. So I'll believe it when I see it. If he got that role, if he were able to beat out Blake Corum, if the Rams pulled away work from Kyren Williams, because he is on the final year of his deal, and I don't think they're going to pay him. Then yes, the upside is, I mean, you're talking about a top 10 running back in the league as far as opportunity that he's going to get. I'm just struggling today and seeing him just, they drafted him. Goodbye, Blake Corum. Goodbye, Kyren Williams. It just doesn't work like that right out the gate. But by the end of the year, Kyren, you want to have Butterfingers, Corum, you're not available. I'm looking at Corum's, like, last 8-9 games of the season, Jay. 8 for 42, 3 for 5, 5 for 14.
3.6 a carry, Ray. 3.6 a carry. That's and again, it's hard because he was injured. How healthy is he? Is he the same back from before? Like, do we need to give him some grace? Like, and then as well, Ray, like, let's not gloss over the fact they went out and drafted another running back. Like, that does matter a little bit. This isn't a team that they're not the Jacksonville Jaguars when they're just drafting running backs every single season because they just don't care. Like, they're drafting this guy for a reason, and we know that. So it should matter, and you should be paying attention to that. But I'm definitely worried about Corum. He did nothing last year, and he wasn't very good. Lower success rate than Kyren Williams, lower yards per attempt, and the dude barely played at all.
Okay.
So he should have been fresh and ready to go.
Rico said, I'm not playing this game in 2025 where we're automatically supplanting the incumbent. We do that all the time. Just rookie. Dylan Lobb's going to start in Las Vegas last year. And then Jalen Wright's going to be this thing. And we always do that shit April, May, June, and then you get to September, and it's Alexander Madison taking carries, right? We do this all the time.
Yep.
I think Hunter's got a ton of upside, though, and that's the name of the show. upside, players with high upside. Let's go another running back, Jay. Another running back, and I didn't know we were going to dive this deep this early. I didn't know we were going to go this deep this early, but this is a team everybody in the whole football world was waiting for this team to draft a running back. It didn't happen in round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, but I believe it was round 7. They finally got their guy. How valuable and how good do you think the landing spot of the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson could be for former Rutgers running back Kyle Monangai? JRich, this is a physical back. He is not going to be the epitome of athleticism and speed, 4.6 40-yard dash. Kind of's got some David Montgomery to his game. But Kyle Monangai in Chicago with Ben Johnson on this offense that we think is going to be spectacular in 2025. I'm going to just be honest with you. I'm looking at this depth chart of DeAndre Swift, of Roschon Johnson, and of Travis Homer, and I have no fear. I've got no fear that if he could come in here and earn his keep, that he will get an opportunity at some point. And at that point, what might you have with this talented running back, Kyle Monangai?
Yeah, there's literally nothing to lose with Kyle Monangai. Like, he is the penultimate upside pick. This is arguably the best rushing attack in the NFL last year. Now, of course, personnel plays a massive
You're talking about the Lions. You're not talking about the Bears.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Lions rushing attack under Ben Johnson was one of the best in the league. The running backs are a big part of that, obviously. The offensive line, big part of that. But if for some reason, and again, I think they got sniped on Travion Henderson, and God knows who else they got sniped on because the Pats took Henderson right before their pick. If Monangai was kind of his last-ditch effort to get a running back that he liked, that was very affordable, and as you mentioned, like, we're talking about Blake Corum. Can he do something in 2025? He's only drafted last season. Now we're talking about Roschon Johnson, right?
I know, man.
Roschon Johnson as an impediment to a player that Ben Johnson and this staff actually drafted and took the time to scout and spend real draft capital on. I will happily take the shot on Monangai. And let's not forget that DeAndre Swift is still the lead dog here. 213 carries 2 seasons ago. 250 last year, Ray. No injuries.
No, first time DeAndre Swift has gone a full 17 in his career.
We're talking 450 carries, very little injuries, no missed time virtually, just banged up, and that's it. I'll buy into that. And again, maybe it's Hopia, maybe it's whatever, but I do like Monangai, the skill set. He's great in that zone scheme. He's great out of shotgun, like we saw with
Caleb. He can't catch the ball.
Run.
He's got stone hands, so he's not going to be deployed in that way. Roschon Johnson, let's not forget, Roschon missed multiple games due to concussion. Remember that concussion that just lingered?
Did.
14 games in 2024. Concussion stuff is very scary. DeAndre Swift, 17, first time in his career. He played all 17 games. And let's not forget that Ben Johnson's first crack at being an offensive coordinator in the NFL, you know who his starting running back was? DeAndre Swift. You know who his starting running back was the next season? David Montgomery. Get out of here, Swift. You got to go. My first season as the OC. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to give you any money, right? You were not a first round pick. We're going to find somebody else. They went out and found David Montgomery. I think this is one where if they bring in a Nick Chubb, I mean, Roschon just doesn't scare me, JRich. This is one where round 4, if no one I kind of want a few stabs at Kyle Monangai.
I want as many as I can get. In one of my drafts, I tried to get him. I got Jarquez Hunter, oddly enough, earlier, right?
Good pick.
Because you have the draft capital baked in there. But I think people should be on Monangai because it may not matter today, and he may be a 7th round draft pick, but don't be surprised if he's the starter at some point this season because it's just not a tough depth chart to climb. And that's the reason why he has so much upside. Even when you compare him to a player like Jarquez Hunter who got the draft capital, he's got to beat out running backs that were actually really good in the NFL in their current systems. Swift now playing in that Ben Johnson system again. If he continues to struggle like he did when he was in that system before, then maybe Monangai gets a shot because he's the guy that they pegged to potentially fill in there. But
are you worried? Are you worried about him being a 7th rounder?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh.
Because that's what gives him so much upside, man. Is that he is a 7th rounder. So people are like, man, this guy's a 7th rounder. He's not going to get a shot. And again, the chance is very, very low.
Look at these clips, man.
But But the upside is really high because we already do like this offense and what it could be in 2025 under Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. So I think it's more than fair to take a shot on him because while he's a little bit slow and he will get caught from behind, that's okay. He can still run for touchdowns and get us some good yards. So I'm fine with it overall.
All right, Kyle Monangai. He's got some upside. I agree. 7th round, he costs you nothing. I would take a few bites at the Kyle Monangai apple. Now, JRich, we're going to switch positions. This was not the team's first wide receiver taken. And I'm just letting y'all know right now because as we're putting the show together and we're finding the plays, I mean, nobody, maybe Travis Hunter celebrates like this guy celebrates. Nobody celebrates like the new Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver, Donte Thornton, which nobody is talking about him, JRich. Nobody is talking about him, probably because his last name is Thornton, and the last Tyquan Thornton just wasn't very good.
Yep.
But is there a world, Jordan Richards, where this tall, athletic, downfield speedster out of Tennessee has a role in an offense in Las Vegas with a quarterback that's going to throw the ball 600-plus times a season? When I look at the Las Vegas Raiders depth chart right now, he is currently listed as the backup to Jakobi Meyers with Trey Tucker as the wide receiver 2 and Jack Besh as the wide receiver 3. Donte Thornton, there's not a lot of production, not a lot of numbers, but he's got a lot of speed and he's got a lot of size. And he was drafted in the 4th round on a team that I look at Trey Tucker and Tommy Millott and Kyle Phillips and Jack. Is there a world where this dude that nobody is talking about has a really good freaking role for the Raiders and you want him, especially maybe in some best ball?
Yeah, I mean, Ray, if there was a player in this draft outside of, I'm trying to even think right now, there's probably not a player in this draft, in my opinion, that compares more to DK Metcalf than Donte Thornton, right? And this is where it's not that, I think Jack Betch is dead or he's not very good or he's not going to get a first crack. Like, when you take a player like this and you're Pete Carroll and you already drafted DK Metcalf, who was injured, not very productive, couldn't run routes, like, there is a absolute world to me where Pete Carroll says this guy is athletic as hell.
Hell yeah.
Like his demeanor, his moxie, and the way plays football.
He's got swag.
And I'm going to coach him up and I'm going to tell him, if you work hard and you do your job, you can be my next DK Metcalf, who we already know that Geno Smith liked and threw the ball to a lot when he was in Seattle. So again, it's a long shot play, but why not bet on an athletic freak that profiles very well to a player that played on the Seattle Seahawks earlier?
26 receptions, 661 yards, 25.4 per reception, and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah. I do think he can be like the Metcalf in this offense. I really do.
I look at this Raiders depth chart right now, okay? I look at this Raiders depth chart.
Oh, there ain't no one there.
The only one that can get down the field is Trey Tucker. That's it, right? Kyle Phillips ain't running no vertical routes. Jack Besh, I like him. If I'm an NFL defensive back, I'm licking my lips. You want to stick him on the outside and send him on a go route? I'm going to put this all up in this and push him out of bounds. You don't have enough speed to threaten me. You just don't. Maybe he's a technician. Maybe. Jakobi is going to do his thing, right? Jakobi can kind of do everything. Upside. We're talking upside here. How many times Geno Smith throw the ball? Geno Smith is launching it 600-plus times, right? He is throwing the ball. You got a dope running back in Ashton Jeanty.
They did draft Ashton Jeanty, right?
But look, hey, that makes it even better for Thornton because you know why? You know what he will never see? Safeties over top. Double coverage.
True.
Play action game. Geno Smith. Oh, it's going to hand to Ashton Jeanty. Nope. Pull it out. There goes number 1 celebrating halfway down the field. Boom. He could be the black version of Alec Pierce. Why can't he be the black?
Okay.
Come on.
Now we're talking.
Now I got you going. You like that, right? Yeah.
Because here's what you're saying, right?
Here, he's the black Alec Pierce. I love it, Jay.
But here's the thing, right? This is the best part is like you talked about it. They have no outside threat at wide receiver. It's Jakobi Meyers in the middle of the field and it's Brock Bowers in the middle of the field. They drafted 2 receivers that can play outside, you'd think, and Thornton probably profiles as the better outside option for the actual offense for the offense. And I think that's the most important part is that, yeah, Betch was drafted in the second round, but Thornton is the one that can actually do the things you need to free things up for your better pass catchers underneath.
I'm not saying to draft him in round 1. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar. I'm just saying this is a player that I don't see anybody talking about. We just dismissed where he got drafted. We dismissed the wide receiver room. I want to take a couple of shots on a guy who's very fast, that can catch the ball when they throw it to him, and average 25 yards a catch. I want to take a chance on that. Jay, one more before we go to break. And this is a popular name, and I know people aren't going to like it. People are not going to like this name. But I talked to a couple of people that are in the Pacific Northwest. And what I was told is there's a plan to use this quarterback out the gate, but not in traditional QB ways, which is that's a problem to a degree, but we know he needs some development. But what I'm hearing is there will be Taysom Hill level packages right out the gate for new Seattle Seahawks quarterback Jalen Milroe. Has already got some clips of him in that Seahawks number 6. You see him throwing the ball right here. I don't really give a shit about Milroe throwing it, right? Hopefully he can develop and be competent getting the ball downfield. This is what I want right here, is him in the RPO game running it, JRich. If I told you right now, out the gate, Jalen Milroe is going to have a package of plays from the beginning of the season for the Seattle Seahawks, how would you feel about the upside of this player who probably is not the QB2? Something happens to Darnold, it's Drew Lock. Drew Lock's going to get first up.
Yeah.
But if Milroe's got packages out the gate, rushing packages, like sort of what Pittsburgh tried to do with Fields to a degree last year, but the team was a mess. How much upside is old Jalen Milroe having that package?
I think he's got a lot, right? Like, he definitely has a lot of upside. We know this is an offense that likes to run the ball and runs the ball very effectively. If they do have packages with him and Walker, him and Charbonnet, like, those are going to be very effective because all of those players can run the ball very, very well. The question really is, like, how much upside does he have overall? Because in year one, we expect him to be straight redshirt, right? Almost nothing, because he's not going to play quarterback. Nah. But if they're getting him on the field early, maybe there's a world where he can play earlier than we thought. And that third-round draft capital definitely piqued my interest because Seattle is a team that only has Darnold on a one-year deal. But I would be looking to take some shots now only because he could be the starter next season. Like, I think there is a world where that could happen. And unless you're planting those seeds early, you're not going to get him for a very affordable price. So, again, I don't know if I love the like penultimate upside or a big upside, but he's one of the bigger upside players because if he can be the quarterback in Seattle, that's a big role for a player like Jalen Milroe to get in his second year.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, I don't want him. Unless he's got that tight end designation, I don't want him. I don't want him. Just remember, on average, there are about 60-something QBs that start in the NFL every year. Over 60 every year. I don't know what the chances are, but Darnold, we shall see.
Darnold has a 1-year guarantee on his deal. It's a 3-year deal, but it's 1 year guaranteed. So he could be gone after this season if he stinks.
Yes, he can. He absolutely can. All right, Jay, we fixed the intermission. So we're going to go to break really quickly. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Got more players to talk about. After the break, we'll go. We'll be right back. Welcome in, everybody, for another stream over here on Bleacher Report, NFL Daily. You can find JRich and I every single week here on this app.
The moment I say it, they'll say, oh, yuck. And it's got to be Najee Harris, right?
That world is in an alternate timeline somewhere in the multiverse. It ain't here on Earth 616 or whatever. It ain't here. JRich and I are on every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Appreciate y'all pulling up. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, subscribe to the channel for all the content we're dropping here, and then check out our fantasy football channel, DD Fantasy Football. Scott, Shane, Brandon, Dynasty Theory, Ty DeClaire, Gabe, the whole crew over there pumping out content just about every single day. Subscribe to that channel as well. And as you saw on the intermission, JRich and I are on Bleacher Report every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Last week we did a dope power ranking stream. I have no clue what we're going to do this week. I'll be in Florida for this show, but Jay, I promise you, I will not leave you hanging. And we are actually going to talk about your team and my team next, because the next two players play for our respective teams that we root for, we cheer for. Upside play. You know, I didn't want to do this, and I don't want to. I'm trying to temper those expectations, because we're talking about a third-round wide receiver on a team with a second-year quarterback that just brought in I'm just going to say, an all-pro caliber wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. But, Jay, right now you go to ESPN, and he's listed as the starting wide receiver for the New England Patriots, and I am talking about Washington State, former Washington State wide receiver Kyle Williams. Got to see him in Mobile in person, Jay. Speed. We look up at the Jumbotron. He's the fastest guy after day one. He goes out there. He runs fast at the combine. Drafted in the third round on a team that needs playmakers for their young quarterback. Is there a world where Stephon Diggs, as good as he looks right now, isn't quite Stephon Diggs to start? You know, every year they tell us you cannot bank on post-ACL tear wide receivers in year one, whether it's Cup, whomever it is. They say, don't do that. You got to wait a year, give him a year. But we're acting like Diggs is going to hit the ground running. What if he doesn't? Is there a world, Jay, where Kyle Williams, you look up week 6, week 7, he's leading the team in targets, he's leading the league in receptions, he's developed that chemistry with Drake May, and you were able to get your QB1 of the future's wide receiver, second round, late second? Is there a world where this dude, at the end of this season, is the best wide receiver on this team?
Ray, I would go a step further than that. I think there's a world where you may look up and he may be leading all rookies in receiving categories, period.
Oh, wow.
Like, let's be honest, right? He has to overcome McMillan, and he has to overcome Hunter, which isn't going to be easy, but the clear path to playing time is there. Kyle Williams is every bit as talented as Stephon Diggs in his current state, in my opinion, but he's not going to get the first shot at targets. But down the stretch in the second half of the season, he could be Drake May's go-to guy. Like, he really could. I love bringing in Stephon Diggs because it adds a veteran to that wide receiver room. And if he grooms Kyle Williams and helps him develop as a receiver, he may actually end up being Drake May's go-to guy. It sounds crazy right now, but
it does.
This team's probably going to be behind. This defense is better, though, so
it's
not
better.
Gonna be as bad as it was last year. We expect the running game to be pretty good with Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. So, like,
not Travion Williams, but yeah.
Thank God. But that's where, like, it's just because it's the Patriots. Oh, and the Patriots stink and all this stuff. Like, he could definitely get there with the volume, and I think the volume could be there for him. He's probably going to start out the gate, which is great for just a player you're drafting in the second round. You're going to look up probably in the second half of the season and be like, man, I probably should draft him in the first round, because he's probably going to get the opportunity. And if he delivers on that opportunity, I see no reason why he can't be a top 3 receiver in this class and even the top receiver as a rookie in this class.
Let me just read to you the leading receivers from New England in 2024. The leader in receptions, there was a tie between Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas, and Hunter Henry. Do you know who was second on the team in receptions last year for New England, for your Patriots?
Probably Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry was tied with Pop Douglas for 1. Who was second?
Oh, God. I have no idea.
Austin Hooper. Who was third? I'm at 4th. Who was 4th?
Ramondre is probably 4th at that point.
Kayshon Boutte. JRich.
Oh, Boutte, yeah. Big play.
Your leading receiving yards for the Patriots last year, Hunter Henry, 674. Pop Douglas, 621. And Kayshon Boutte, 589. And Boutte was also tied for the lead in touchdowns with Pop Douglas with 3. Not an inspiring group of pass catchers.
Yeah.
I don't want to project a third-round receiver landing in a spot where they're going to get massive opportunity and be able to potentially be the team's top target. But with McDaniels, with May, and with the lack of dynamic pass catchers on this New England Patriots team, I will buy it, JRich.
It's not impossible.
I will buy it. I will buy it 100%. All right. Got some more BS to sell you. How about that, JRich? Got some more upside plays to sell you. Now, this one is an easy sell. In my opinion, this is an easy sell. This is an offense right now that lacks every letter that is used to spell explosive, this offense doesn't have it. It lacks every single letter in the word explosive. They have none of that right now, currently in the backfield prior to this rookie landing there. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn. I think they've got another yoo-hoo out there for the Dallas Cowboys. But they did spend a pick on a very explosive player out of Texas, Jaydon Blue. JRich, this is a home run threat. Somebody that we thought could potentially run a 4.2 40-yard dash at the combine. I think at his pro day, it was 4.3, something very, very fast. He was replaced as the primary rusher at Texas because he can't hold on to the damn ball. He puts the ball on the ground. But in the receiving game and in space, there may not be a more explosive back in this class. One of the best hands-catching running backs in this class. Jaydon Blue out of Texas to Dallas. How do you feel about this player's upside for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025?
I'm definitely really intrigued. And it's funny that, people would look at it and say, well, how is he going to get carries? And how's he going to run the ball? Like, I could care less if he runs the ball. He's going to be the best pass catcher in that backfield. And maybe you can make the case for Deuce Vaughn, and that's fine. But, he's going to be the best pass catcher in that backfield. And I'm fairly confident saying that. And this is a team that I don't think is going to run the ball a lot. They probably want to run the ball. But, Ray, look at their running backs. If Jaydon Blue isn't making explosive plays down the field or breaking tackles, it's just not going to happen. And you always talk about players that can throw the ball 600 times. Dak Prescott is that. If Dak Prescott is healthy, he's probably throwing the ball 600 plus, maybe even 650 plus times. And I think just having a back that can catch passes and is reliable in the receiving game is an extremely valuable asset for Dak Prescott when you only have CeeDee Lamb. You have CeeDee Lamb, you got Jalen Tolbert, and you got Kevontae Turpin as your starting 3 wide receivers. Why not add a Jaydon Blue in a starting package there? Because he can make a massive difference for a player like Dak Prescott, who's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders in this season.
It's probably one of the more uninspiring starting lineups that I've seen. I kid you not.
Really
I
is.
would take the Raiders, on paper, their skill position players and what they've got. I mean, you got Lamb, which is great, but outside of Javonte Williams, Jalen Tolbert, and Kevontae Turpin, what are we doing, Dallas? Miles Sanders, Jaydon Blue. This is one where I'm just telling you folks, trust me, it's going to be very quickly. It's not going to take long to see Javonte Williams plot around back there, to see Miles Sanders run laterally, sideline to sideline, and then Blue, he's just going to look way different. He's going to look significantly more explosive than anything in that backfield. And regardless of what he becomes long-term, not going to be some damn Hall of Fame running back. I highly doubt that. But you're just talking about value and the perception of a player. He's one that I think it won't take long for people to be like, I want that guy. Even if he's only getting the ball 9 times a game, I'll take a swing on 9 Jaydon Blue touches over 9 Miles Sanders touches. Give me the guy that has the ability to take it 90 yards. Give me the guy that has the ability to rip off, take a 15-yard run and turn it into 30. I'm down with that. So for me, despite the fact that he's not the type of running back that I wanted Dallas to draft, what we all wanted Dallas to do is take a guy that can be groomed and molded to be the lead back of the future. Caleb Johnson, Quinshawn Judkins, something like that. It didn't happen, right? This is what Dallas does. It did not happen. I'm okay with what his role could be in this offense, and I think there's tremendous upside with Jaydon Blue.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? The biggest thing, and this is what's great about something like this, and when you're looking at teams, is you find these player archetypes, right? And Blue doesn't fit the other backs in the system, which tells you that there could be a very clear role for him earlier than expected in this offense.
Yep. Brandon says a perfect best ball dart. Cowboys will sign a veteran receiver. Keenan Allen has Cowboy written.
Someone dropped Keenan Allen at least.
Yeah, fake football fun. Ferguson is the cheap winner for that offense. Number 2 target behind Dak, red zone favorite.
Yes.
Air horn, agree.
Yes.
Big winner, Jake Ferg. Jake Ferg is about to make Dallas have to pay him. Watch. He's just going to be like, you ain't got no choice.
They didn't pay Schultz, though. They didn't pay Schultz. And how's that working out for Houston?
I know. All right, let's go with another upside play. I don't. You were excited to talk about him. I'm mildly intrigued.
I'm telling you, Ray, no one wants this guy, and he's gonna play like it's happening.
he probably will play. And we are talking about a champion, a reigning national champion, who right now, that QB room is bare in Pittsburgh. Will Howard, JRich, the Pittsburgh Steelers, new quarterback from the Ohio State, national champ, transfers from Kansas State, goes out here, makes Jeremiah Smith. Jerry, you see that?
Yeah,
Will
make him
Howard
looking good.
that. Will Howard did that, right? I'm just kidding. He didn't make Jeremiah Smith. But you see Will Howard. I mean, he played incredible ball. I believe 70% completion percentage. You talk about a veteran quarterback, probably somebody in there that's going to work hard, be the first one in the building, last one out of the building. Sneaky, athletic with Will Howard. He can run.
Definitely is.
He is sneaky. Lunch pail kind of guy. Talk about your boy Will Howard. I mean, throwing it in triple coverage, probably not ideal right there on that clip.
Who would he throw it to, Ray?
Jeremiah Smith. Talk about Will Howard and the upside in this Pittsburgh offense, Jay.
So the reason why I like this pick, honestly, is because he comes from Ohio State, right, which is a good system. It's not quite a pro-style system, but I think it's good for what they're probably going to do in Pittsburgh. And one of the things that Mike Tomlin talked about, and one of the reasons why he really liked Caleb Johnson, is he runs a lot of pro-style runs. He come from a system where he faced a lot of stack boxes and ran a pro-style system and ran a lot of pro runs. And I think a lot of the reasons why Will Howard can succeed is the same reasons he succeeded at Ohio State. He plays on a fantastic team with a lot of playmakers. You have an inaccurate quarterback that struggles to throw the ball down the field. Well, guess what? We got two guys that are massive and are great in contested catch situations, at least currently, with George Pickens and Dike Metcalf. Another player who's great at that, Pat Freiermuth. How about a Darnell Washington that is 6'7" and an easy button target in the middle of the field? On top of that, you're going to have a strong running game with three talented running backs. And while I don't love Will Howard, I do think there's a world where he can do just enough to start for this Steelers team. And Ray, guess what, baby? He's a champion and he wins. And you know that Mike Tomlin's going to love that. And if for some reason things don't work out with Aaron Rodgers, you got Mason Rudolph, who will probably start for the majority of the season. But I think Will Howard will get a look. And if he looks good, and let's not forget, as you mentioned, he can run a little bit.
He can run a little bit. Yes, absolutely.
As well. And no one wants Will Howard. They think he stinks. They think he's no good. But I think he's playing in the right team for his skill set. And I think that matters a little bit as well.
Luke said, bro's just going to chuck it up. Pickens and DK, F it. They're down there somewhere. Fake Football Fun said, Will Howard in a run-heavy offense, which they probably will be, plus deep shots to DK and Pickens. I can see the vision.
Play action, right?
No one's saying he's going to be Russell Wilson. Nobody's saying he's going to. But can you not see the vision? They want to run the ball. You made the case. All of their pass catchers outside of Calvin Austin are massive, right?
They're
Everybody's
like 6'5"
big.
plus.
Just get it in the vicinity, Will Howard, for the 25 times that we're going to let you throw the ball a game. I can see the vision. I am hesitant to say that he's like the long-term answer. But, dude, I watched Houston trot out Davis Mills for an entire season. I'd much rather see Will Howard out there than whatever version of Davis Mills is in 2025. I guess Quinn Ewers. Let me see what else we have in the chat. Stanley says, yes, Will Howard can run. I like Will Howard to start if Rodgers doesn't come.
That's the bet you're making, unfortunately.
That's the bet you're making.
There's rumors of Cousins and Rodgers, and that would make sense for the Steelers. They're trying to win football games. But if none of that works out, Will Howard should be on every team. He should be on a team in every league possible because he's probably going to get a shot.
All right, Jay, the final rookie upside play that I think people are fading for a variety of reasons. One, this team has not had good success with some of the running backs that they've drafted and or paid through free agency. This team currently has what many would consider, when healthy, the best running back in football. This is a team that historically gets their running backs banged the hell up in this zone running back scheme. But can I interest you in San Francisco 49ers new running back, Jordan James from the University of Oregon, JRich? Is there a world?
Yeah.
Is there a world where CMC is back, he's healthy, but they don't want to give him the damn ball as much as they have before? They've got an Isaac Guerendo there, but it's Isaac Guerendo. He's fine. But is there a world where Jordan James, you're watching him, and you just more touches. I don't want to say this year's version of Elijah Mitchell. But is there, I think there's a lot of upside with this Jordan James pick here.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about Jordan James is that he's in the right system for what he did at Oregon, right? Like, that's the first step is, are you in a spot where we can project you and say, yeah, you should find success in this scheme? And while a lot of people don't look at that all the time, like, this is one of those that's just like a hand in glove fit and should work almost perfectly, which is great for him because it means he's going to acclimate to the offense a little bit faster. But we have seen a lot of San Francisco running backs get hurt. And the other thing we've seen, Ray, is the moment you're announced the starter in San Francisco,
the moment,
like, holy shit, that's worth a second-round pick almost instantly. And so he's probably not going to be a long-term answer, but he could be a short-term answer, and you could profit heavily off of a player like Jordan James. And again, I'm not entirely sold that they're just going to give Christian McCaffrey all this work again.
Right.
Now, people say he's healthy, and I'm tempted to at least entertain that fact, but drafting a Jordan James is them just saying, you know what, we need another back in the room to see what he's got, and I think they picked one that will definitely fit with their system. So I really like the upside of James. Maybe not so much this year, but maybe into next year, depending on what happens this season with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, some people are asking about Jordan Mason. They shipped him off to Minnesota. He's in Minnesota now. I believe they got.
So it's just Garendo.
Did they trade him for, what did they?
They traded him for a 6th. The reason they traded him mostly was because of, what is it? The compensatory structure. That was one of the reasons why they traded them. Yeah.
So Jordan Mason not there. They do have Garendo, and I think there's another running back there,
Cody
but not
Schrader in the building.
Yeah, Cody Schrader. Yeah, I'm not.
So
not
our
worried.
lads has McCaffrey, Garendo, James, Patrick Taylor, who's basically a backup, and Israel Abanikanda, and Corey Kiner.
Yeah, I mean listen, that RB room just doesn't instill a lot of health confidence from me. I think the play is like the moment a San Francisco 49er running back is announced the starter, the value is just a boom. It just happens every single time. We've seen this happen time and time again. All right, Jay. Final situation, and we're not going to show any clip. I just want to throw this out there to the people. Question one, is there upside in Tennessee's offense from the pass catchers? Do you believe that a pass catching room of pretty much rookies alongside Calvin Ridley with a rookie quarterback, is there even really upside in Tennessee? Because before they got 4 receivers, man. They drafted 2 in round 4, and then they went out and got Cam Ward's BFF that helped make him the #1 pick in Xavier Restrepo, as well as damn tight end Gunnar Helm. Is there even upside in this offense to be had, in your opinion?
It's very limited. It really is. I mean, this is a wide receiver room that, Ray, I didn't even know this. Do you know who their second wide receiver is? Because Tyler Lockett is in the slot. No, it's not Treylon.
Oh.
This player is running ahead of Treylon right now. It is Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson is their projected outside wide receiver 2.
And he's
probably obviously as the X.
Okay.
And Tyler Lockett in the slot. We have, and you mentioned this, Io Manor projected to be Calvin Ridley's backup. Chimere Dike projected to be Tyler Lockett's backup. And they also have Jaquan Jackson, who oddly enough I actually liked a lot. Very good returner last season, very explosive. And then Restrepo is behind him. So, oh man, Cam Ward is a good quarterback. They should have a strong running game. But the passing attack, and even honestly, Ray, like Callahan, I don't know, man. I wanted to believe in Callahan last season, and they had their moments, and it's easy to say, well, Will Levis was just terrible, and Mason Rudolph was terrible, and they were terrible. That's why they had the #1 overall pick. But it's just not inspiring. It's not
inspiring. It's not.
It's just not.
It's
like
not.
DK maybe gets a role in the slot if Lockett gets hurt, which hasn't happened too much. But is Io Manor playing over Calvin Ridley? Never.
No.
Never.
No.
Ever. Right? So I'd probably take a shot on DK.
Never, ever. Even if there's a fire. No, he's not playing over Calvin Ridley. No.
And I still like the shot on Restrepo. Because if Restrepo and Cam Ward show the chemistry they showed in Miami, it's going to play its way onto the field. And I think, Ray, if anything, Cam Ward is one of those guys that he likes his guys. And if he likes Restrepo and they can actually show that chemistry on the field, I think he'll be on the field.
I like Chimere Dike to a degree. I don't like any of the offense outside of Calvin Ridley. Let me start there. I mean, they drafted weapons, in air quotes. Hillel Mullings, maybe he factors in because Tajay Spears' head is mush. You've got 4 rookie pass catchers, 4. Helm and 3 rookie wide receivers. Van Jefferson is going to play, like him or not. Ridley's the guy. You have Chigo Okonkwo. I don't have a lot of interest in any of the rookies. I don't have a lot of interest in any of the rookies outside of maybe Gunnar Helm, and he's clearly behind Chigo Okonkwo. So I agree. Somebody's got to catch passes. I'll just pass and let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll just
that's what you should do probably.
Yeah,
like the Ricardo upside play is maybe Lockett, but
Ricardo said we all agree the Titans are not an offense maybe to target this year, but I don't want to be dismissive of it. I don't want to be dismissive of it. JR Enterprise says, tell me a story about Dike. And I mean, fun. He's a crosser guy. He's an over the field, big crosser guy, speed. Florida's QB play over the past couple of years is outside of DJ Lagway getting in there has not been good. So again, I don't want it, Jay. I don't
want that 2026 Graham Mertz, right?
Ricky said Tennessee is on the clock for the 2026.
And what's
NFL
worse is their
draft.
defense is going to be worse this year. Like, it's going to be worse. I don't know what their offensive line is significantly improved. Maybe Ward can get them there, but I mean, like, it's just is there any world where they could be the Commanders? Like, last year they only had McLaurin, right? Yeah.
No, I do not believe so. I do not believe so. We have a super chat from my man Stanley. Shout out to my dog Stanley, man. Shout out to Stanley. Stanley in the building. Said, Ray, Chris Cole, Georgia linebacker, his high school teammate, Peyton Lewis, Tennessee running back, both played as true freshmen. Chris Cole, Ray, you'll like him. Okay. Chris Cole, Georgia linebacker, and his high school teammate, Peyton Lewis, Tennessee running back, both played as true freshmen. I'm diving in. Stanley, we're going to start doing some 26 prospect evaluation stuff on the channel over the summertime to get people ready for the college football season. So I will check out Chris Cole. Good to know. I can pull him up in my database and be able to rip his clips really quickly. So appreciate the super chat, Stanley. Thank you for pulling up every single day that we're on this show. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. my time, Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. But no show this Friday, no show next Monday. I'll be out of town, vacation with the fam, taking them to Disney. But we got a bunch of content lined up for y'all here and DDFFB. Jay, good show today, man. Anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
No, thank you for tapping in. No show on Friday, but we got Wednesday, we got Thursday, and I'm sure we'll be back with bangers next week as well. But I'm excited, man. It's been a good show. A lot of fun talking some upside. Ray, should we do the top 10 downside?
Hey, hold on. Joe brought it up.
What'd Joe say?
He brought up this name, Keandre Lambert Smith.
Ray was sending me some late night clips of KLS.
Hey, no bullshit. If you haven't, I know, here's the thing. Outside of Joe and Kevin, you have not watched them. I guarantee you haven't. You have not. You have not watched. I'm watching them like, hey, Jay, if he's on waivers, I'm going to just pick him up. The ball tracking skills are very good. I'm just
4.37 is that vert though. Woof.
Look at Luke. Luke is like, who? You don't even know where he was drafted. He got drafted with. I mean, we're talking about Deontay Thornton. Talking about all these other.
He started at Penn State.
I'm just saying, man. Hey, JR Enterprise. If you know, you know. Adam. This is a real player.
6'1", 190. Chargers, though, Ray.
Just go look. The hands look better than QJ. Just take a look.
Well,
take a look. I was sending you the clips. Just take a look. And no, we're not talking about the Denver tight end because I don't want JRich to go on and on. He loves this tight end. He loves them.
I want shots at that Denver tight end, man. I want some shots because he's probably
Jason, I can't get excited with Cam Coleman because I don't know where Cam Coleman's playing. He transferred. Where the hell is Cam Coleman at now? He left Auburn. Number 8 is no longer there. Jason, where's he at? Yeah, Joe, he looks much bigger than he plays much bigger than what he is. But my girl, you and I, we're eye to eye. Simpatico. I like Lambert Smith. All right, we'll get out of here. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out DDFFB. Join the community, patreon.com/allgas. members-only content coming to this channel very soon. We'll see y'all bright and early on Wednesday morning. We out. Peace.